One time she missed it, went like this, it went. My mom was right there. Vente pa' acá, baboso. My mom was like Latina Darth Vader with that. Come over to the dark side. You ever talk back to your parents? You don't want to be Latino and talk back to your mom. One time my mom went like that, I went, stop it! I'm gonna call the police on you! You know what my mom said? Good, call the police, I'm gonna do this in front of them! So everyone in this neighborhood knows what kind of a boy I have in this house. I said, dang, mama, you bad. What city you from, mama? What city you from? My mama said, I'm from nowhere. Ciao! You ever get too old to be getting a lesson? You're 12 and you're taller than your mom. Did that happen to anybody else? When I was 12, I went through a growth spurt. I outgrew my mom, dude. One time she went like this, and all I did was stand up. She went, oh, yeah. No, I'm not gonna do nothing. Don't do it to me no more. You know what's adorable, dude? I'm looking at your faces. 75% of you guys are sitting there going, oh my gosh, that happened to me! But there's like 25% of you guys that are sitting there going like this, with like this stone cold look on your face going, oh my gosh, did that really happen to you guys? Oh my gosh, you guys, that is not okay. Seriously, you guys, under no circumstances is that ever okay. You guys, we are in college now. We have counselors available for you. We can write you a referral. You guys, we need hugs, not hits. All we ever got in my house was a timeout. I would have loved the timeout when I was a kid, dude. I know you can get a timeout for being disciplined, dude. The only thing I knew about timeouts was some basketball and football and soccer. My mom be teaching me lessons. Ay, timeout! Timeout! Yeah! Okay, baboso, go. Timeout. 28, 29, 30. Time it. Bah! I share this with you for one reason and one reason only. Excuse me. I'm not up here condoning corporal punishment, okay? You're like, who hired this guy? Where did we find him? I am up here saying this. The only reason that we do what we do is because we're taught that. And the only reason that you teach by the hand is the only reason our parents ever touched us because abuelita and abuelito touched them. You know what I'm saying? And you do what you're taught. You know, so the only way to break the cycle is maybe for us to look at it and laugh together, right? But here's the true gift. This is the true message. That ended up being the greatest gift my mother ever gave me. To have me fear and respect her more than I did the streets. The streets wanted me. There was a pull. I wanted to be part of a gang. I wanted to be a cholo. I wanted to get a teardrop right here. Mi vida loca y qué, güey. But I was literally more afraid of my mom than I was the streets. Had I listened to the cholos in the hood, I would have ended up dead or in jail. But I ended up listening to my mama. I ended up being a college graduate. So I thank my mama every day for loving me that much. That's another one of my messages, is we got to love our parents. Love and embrace them. And just know, you know, I know I'm speaking to the choir right here. I'm preaching to the choir because I don't think there's a person in this room that isn't aware of the fact that the only reason that they're here because their mom and dad worked their butt off, sacrificed, and got you here, right? I mean, you wouldn't be involved in this conference if you didn't know that, but, you know, our parents have our back. No matter what, they have our back. You know, and I know there's a couple of you saying, you don't know my mom. You don't know my dad. You don't know what he did to my family, right? But I do know this. Your parents taught you one of two things. They either taught you how you want to be in life, or unfortunately, they may have taught you how you don't want to be in life. But either way, they taught you. And your job is to love and embrace your parents. Here's the thing. You know, I have had the privilege of meeting the most amazing students from all over the country. And in my voyages, I've met some amazing dreamers. You know, I marched with the Dreamwalkers, who, I don't know if you guys know this, but it was a group of students. They marched from Miami, Florida, to Washington, D.C. They walked that entire way. 3 students, actually there were 4, and they had different groups join them, and and they marched, and it took them months. I think they left in January. They didn't get there until May. This was a couple years ago. And I was performing in Virginia, and I marched with the Dreamwalkers, and I heard their stories. And if we sit here and listen to each and every one of your stories, we'd be touched. If I just stopped and said, hi, what's your name? What's your name, ma'am? Elena. Where are you from, Elena? Ooh. Were you born in Riverside? In Mexico? And what school do you go to? RCC? Awesome. So if we stopped and just spent 10 minutes listening to her story, each one of us would be moved to tears. And then if I asked you, what's your name, bro? Carlos. And we listened to Carlos' story, and he told us about his mom and his dad and how he ended up where he ended up, we'd all be touched, moved, and inspired. So everybody in here has an amazing, beautiful story to tell. Now here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. For some reason, we feel like the world's against us, right? A lot of us feel like the world has no idea what you're struggling with and what you're dealing with. But here's the thing. The fact that we are here is a blessing. I'd like you to consider something. I'd like you to consider that if you're in this room right now, listening to this empowerment comedy performance at this event, at the California Dream Network retreat at Cal Poly Pomona, I would like you to consider that you lead a blessed life. If you're here instead of where your friends are, you know how I know this? Because I'd like each of you right now to think of somebody that you know personally or that you've heard of, but you probably know someone personally who should be in school who isn't, who is working and can't come to school, who is in drugs or messing around with gangs, or no disrespect to anybody, got pregnant too early and couldn't continue their education, or they're just too scared. Each one of you just thought of somebody. I don't think there's anybody in this room that didn't just think of somebody, which tells me that if you're in this room, you lead a blessed life. And your job is to own and embrace that opportunity. You know, our parents have sacrificed so much for me. You know, I love my mom with all my heart, man. She's the reason that I am who I am today. My mom came over here from Mexico when she was 9 years old. And her biggest complaint to this day is that she wanted to learn English. She got here when she was 9. She wanted to learn English. But they put her in school, and she was failing. And instead of teaching her, you know, ESL, they didn't have ESL classes back in the day. And instead of taking their time to teach her, they let her work in the cafeteria. And they let her work in the library. And my mom graduated from an American high school, and she couldn't even read. That's her biggest complaint. They let me graduate. They let me graduate, and I couldn't even read. She didn't want to graduate. She wanted to learn to read before she graduated. She didn't want to just be ushered through the system. And my mom is, you know, she's my hero, man. I mean, you know, she's struggling right now. She has a lot of things that she's going through. But here's the message I want to make sure that I share with you guys. You guys are the blessed. You are the blessed. You think you have it hard, and I know you have challenges. I know so many dreamers. I've marched with them, I've walked with them, I've walked among them, I've lived with them, and I know what you guys are going through. And I know you think no one knows. I know you think no one can understand what you have to do, how many buses you got to take. You know, how much it costs to get a dang bus pass. But thank God you're here. Because now look. Camaradas. Compadres. You know what I'm saying? You have each other now. I'm going to tell you one more quick little story. And then I'll wrap it up. But are you guys having fun? You guys having fun? When it was time for me to go to high school, you know, the conventional wisdom of the day, what the teachers were telling the parents of the brown kids, this is what the teachers were telling the parents of the brown kids back in the day. Since your child's probably not going to go to college, they should go to a trade tech school, learn to work with their hands. They should learn a skill, a craft. Mechanics, electronics, gardening would be wonderful for your child, since they're probably not going to go to college. The rich kids, they got encouraged to go to St. Francis College Prep. That's what it was called, St. Francis College Prep. But it wasn't even called St. Francis High School. It was called College Prep because the expectation was you were going to go to college. The brown kids got encouraged to go to trade tech, the rich kids to college prep. Now, if you're sitting there thinking, I almost went to a college prep, or my almost went to a trade tech school, my dad went to a trade tech school. There's nothing wrong with that. That's a beautiful thing. If that's organic for you, if you want to go to trade tech and develop a skill, please do that. But what I am saying